and came up here to Detroit about 17 years ago to Detroit News. I'm also their cartoonist, so talking cards, drawing pictures. It's a great town to be a car guy in, and I think this is we're living the second golden era of cars right now. If you look out there, what's on the showroom lots, we've never seen a greater variety of cars, from entry-level cars to luxury cars. It's a wonderful, wonderful second golden era.
910 AM Superstation. We are the future of radio. If the conversation is hot and the lines are jammed, give us a try at 313-778-7600 or 313-778-7601. That's 313-778-7600 or 313-778-7601.
910 Superstation is off the chisane.
910 AM Superstation is the voice of Detroit, and we want to hear what you have to say by any means necessary. Every weeknight at 9 p.m. is something new and something fresh.
This is Todd Corser, and I want you to check out my show. Listen in and call every week as we explore government and hot topics. Tune in, raw and uncut.
This is attorney Michael Schwartz at 910 AM Superstation, and you can hear me every Tuesday night starting at 9 p.m.
Hello, Detroit. This is attorney Crystal Crittenden, and please tune in to my new show, The Truth Matters, on 910 AM Superstation.
Hello, everyone. I'm Charlene Mitchell, your host of Mind Your Business. Listen to my show live every Thursday from 9 to 11 p.m.
I'm Reverend Maya Lisa Reynolds, inviting you to listen to Mama Maya Speaks Friday evenings from 9 until 11 p.m., discussing education, motivation, and inspiration on Superstation 910 AM.
Different names, different voices, but the same energy. 910 AM Superstation, the voice of Detroit. Don't miss the best day party in town every Saturday at 4 p.m. on 910 AM Superstation with Chuck Bennett.
If I meet 2 people at each party, that's 10 people every week that I meet. At the end of the year, that's 520 people at parties.
Right.
That's a lot of names to remember.
That is.
But now, so then I get somebody who comes up to me and says, "Hi, Chuck, do you remember me?" All right, you do the math.
Saturdays at 4 p.m. only on 910 AM Superstation.
Listen live now. The number one station, period.
And on that note, let's get back to the program.
You're listening to 910 AM Superstation, Detroit's only urban talk radio station.
It's the Wayne Bradley Show, conservative analytical radio, giving you what you need to know. Listen up, it's the Wayne Bradley Show. It's the Wayne Bradley Show, conservative analytical radio, giving you what you need to know. Listen up, it's the Wayne Bradley Show. That's what it is. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. That's what it is. Listen up. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. Oh, it's the Wayne Bradley Show. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. Yeah.
How do I say goodbye to what we had? The good time that made us laugh, I'll wait them back. I thought we'd get to see forever, but forever's gone away. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
Oh, man. Welcome to the Wayne Bradley Show. 9:10 a.m., your Superstation. Got so much to talk about today. John Conyers resigned. He resigned. He stepped down today. And it's just so much going on in Detroit. My heart is full. We've got a battle going on between the Conyers family. Ian Conyers is going to face John Conyers III. What is going on here? What's going on in Detroit? What's going on with the politics? I just don't understand. I mean, because it's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. I just can't believe it. John Conyers has resigned after over 50 plus years. 50 plus years serving in Congress. I mean, I just can't believe it. It's just yesterday. We didn't think he was going to step down. There was this big rally. Due process. I was at the Hartford Church, and I listened, and I was inspired, and I just couldn't believe that Nancy Pelosi would go after a civil rights icon like this. It's just unreal. Cannot believe the Democrat Party chasing that man out of the party like this. Nancy Pelosi is officially on the no-fly zone for the city of Detroit. She will not be able to come in here and support Gretchen Whitmer. How could it be this way? Has it got this bad, Democrats? Where you got to go after John Conyers, but you let Al Franken stay in office? This is where we're at. Oh, man. Thank you. Thank you, man. That was touching. That was real touching right there. We are really in a big day of politics here. The iconic, the honorable John Conyers stepped down today amid a ton of allegations. Some sound like unfounded allegations, but he stepped down today because he essentially said that it was too much. It was causing too much stress, and it wasn't worth his health to continue fighting the pressure that people like Nancy Pelosi was putting on John Conyers to step down. And I'm still in shock because just yesterday the rallying cry was due process. I guess he didn't want to wait for that due process. He had to get out of there. And now, as I predicted last week, I said if this ever did happen where John Conyers was to resign, there would become a battle royal of Democrat candidates that would jump into this race. And I don't think even 3 hours have passed yet, and we found out that this is the most interesting part. John Conyers III has been endorsed by his dad. Now, I don't know how much of a good that is an endorsement right now. Obviously, name recognition, he's going to be on the ballot as John Conyers. You really can't beat that. But Ian Conyers, his great-nephew, I believe this is also planning on getting in the race. I'm not going to really harp on the personal aspects of that because I just think that's let that be between family. But from a political standpoint, that's unbelievable that you'll have two family members running against each other. You also had Coleman Young, who I predicted would get in the race. He's going to try to bring it back for the motherland. He wants to bring it to the motherland. Coleman Young is going to run for Congress. Why not? Coleman Young doesn't want to get a real job. He wants to continue running, and after that's over, he'll lose that race, and then another 6 months he'll be wanting to run for something else again in 2018. It's going to be interesting, folks. It's going to be what I consider a Democrat battle royal. I'm seeing people call for Sherry Gay DeNogo to run. Great lady. Just fiery. I wouldn't want to have to debate her. I tell you that. It's going to be interesting to see who else gets in this race. Sherry obviously was a very big supporter of John Conyers, so maybe she will support John Conyers III. I don't know. That's a lot of responsibility to give to a young man that's never held office at all. Obviously, growing up as John Conyers is your dad, you do have somewhat of an understanding what it's going to take in terms of the sacrifices for that job. But there's a lot going on here. That is a big deal, folks. That is a big deal. Who else do you think is going to get in the race? Do you think that there will be a political price to pay for these Democrats, for Nancy Pelosi turning her back on the civil rights icon, John Conyers? Will she be able to come back to Detroit and speak at the NAACP dinners as a keynote speaker? I doubt it. It'll be interesting to see if she'll make that happen. She was once a highly respected Democrat, but how will that work going into these urban areas now after you just ran off the civil rights icon, one of the founders of the Black Caucus. But I will say other people in the Black Caucus Foundation put the pressure on John Conyers to resign too. So I guess if you want to really point it that way, there were others also. But Nancy Pelosi was the leader, and she is the one that led the charge. I'm seeing people on my Facebook saying, no, that's not going to work. They're not going to support John Conyers III. We will see. I think that, unfortunately, in Detroit, a lot of people do make it simple on themselves and go with a name they recognize, name ID, or a name they know has proven to be very big in Detroit politics. So we'll see. Give us a call, 313-209-9000. What will be the political price to pay for Nancy Pelosi calling out John Conyers and forcing him to retire? Let's go to JJ on line 1. JJ, thanks for calling in.
Hey, Wayne, how you doing, man?
I'm all right. How you doing?
Hey, good. You should run for that office as a Republican. Actually, you know what? I'm going to wait for you when you run for governor. I'm going to vote for you. Check this out. You know, I ain't kidding, man. I was just thinking about this. You remember Clarence Thomas, right?
Mm-hmm.
You remember Anita Hill?
Yes.
Okay. I was just thinking about this because I remember listening to the hearings of Anita Hill, and I believed the woman, okay?
Right.
But this is my point. Clarence Thomas, a black man, is a Supreme Court justice.
Right.
The Republicans, they still stood behind their man, and he was black, right?
Right.
So the Republicans didn't care what color he was. They stood behind their man, all right? Now you got the Democratic Party, you got a black man, and they throw him under the bus, right?
Right.
So what
does that tell you? What does that really tell you right there?
Right. It tells you that the Democratic Party is not for the black man. Just because Hillary Clinton carries some hot sauce in her purse.
That's what she thought. She thought that was going to reach out and connect with black people, telling them that she keeps hot sauce in her bag. I thought that was, if a Republican had said that, they would have said, listen, look at him. He's being condescending. That's racist. How dare someone say they keep hot sauce in their bag? That would have been no Republican could get away, no white Republican could get away with that, going into an urban area talking about they are keeping hot sauce in their bag. It just wouldn't happen.
Right. I just was thinking about that, because everybody talks about black and white, and here a black man, and he's a very good Supreme Court justice. Mm-hmm. We all have sin. If people are looking for character, and when they talk about, the man just in his top thing, he said he was he just admitted to a felony. Well, if lying is a felony, there wouldn't be anybody in Washington D.C. on both sides.
Amen. Thank you, JJ. I gotta agree. What do you think about him? Well, you hung JJ up. Sorry about that, JJ. We'll get you back on the line at some point. Give us a call. Let us know what you think about the Conyers versus Conyers issue that's going on here. So we're gonna go to Joe. Joe is on the line. Joe, thanks for calling in.
Thank you for receiving my call.
Mm-hmm.
What I think about this whole situation is you need some fresh blood to run.
So do you consider John Conyers the third fresh blood, or or Ian Conyers, either of them?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Not no Conyers, not no Coleman Young, not no Mary Waters, none of the notables that would pop up. You need somebody like a David Bullock.
A David Bullock.
David Bullock, somebody that'll go to jail, somebody that's out here on the street fighting, somebody that got some real guts, somebody that don't talk with a forked tongue. See, a lot of these politicians that you think are trailblazer, they talk with a forked tongue. I know these Democrats.
Right.
I know. And it's really sad that the man was forced to retire.
Right.
But God still got the last word.
Yeah, well, what do you think about the fact that Nancy Pelosi forced him to retire. I mean, now this is the same woman that was a keynote speaker at the NAACP dinner in Detroit. You can almost bet she was going to come here and support Gretchen Whitmer in her run for governor. Do you think Do you think she'll be welcomed here in the city in terms of politically? Will that be toxic now?
That's going to be toxic. But all this really did is show the true colors of people.
Oh, I agree.
Because the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
Right, no question about it.
Whatever's in your heart gonna come out.
We're actually getting back to the roots of the Republican Party. To the Democrat Party. They're suppressing the civil rights icon John Conyers. That's actually the roots of the Democrat Party, and it's just they're getting back to it. And it's a painful truth that they're seeing. What you just saw here happen, where they made John Conyers resign, but it's okay that Al Franken continues to sit there and sit in the Senate. Shows you who they have value on, and the fact that they believe that they can get any black person to go sit in that seat and just give us the votes. I'm going to give you an interesting quote that I thought was interesting, and I didn't have it when I was at the event, when I was at the church supporting John Conyers. But I'm going to give you a quote that I thought was interesting and that I think more Democrats are going to start paying attention to, and the fact of how they feel used. It tells us that African Americans are disposable, and that's why people are not engaged in the political process. We're just used to help carry the vote, and we're not going to accept that anymore. And that was from State Rep Sherry Gay Dignogo. I think more Democrats are going to start feeling that way. I really do. I think that this is a painful lesson for black folks, given all their dedication to one political party.
Well, I'm going to say this and let you go.
Okay.
That's a powerful statement.
Mm-hmm.
But we as a race of people have been asleep for a long time.
I agree. Kind of put it on cruise control and didn't think that we had to really engage or keep folks accountable. If you're going to give your loyalty to a party, you better get some really good results for doing so. And I just haven't seen those results reflected in our community for a very long time.
A lot of the people that was at that rally was there for the limelight, and they was talking for show.
Right.
But behind the scene, they was against him too.
Interesting.
See, you got to be able to see past the front.
Right.
See, a lot of people can't see past the front.
I get you.
But you got to be able to look them in their eye and see their soul.
I get you.
There's a bunch of them that done sold their soul.
Right.
And when you can identify them, they don't like you. But as I said from the beginning, I've been watching a long time. I'm 58 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You need completely new blood, which is a David Bullock.
David Bullock, good guy. He's definitely committed to the cause.
Completely new blood.
That'll be interesting. We'll see.
They haven't run for everything.
All right. Well, thank you, Joe. I appreciate that, my friend. We'll see. David Bullock, he has run for office before. Will David Bullock, maybe I can get him on the show one day to talk about that. David Bullock, will he run for Congress? That's an interesting pick. He is young, new blood. He would not be considered a retread of a lot of the politicians around here. David Bullock, interesting call. Interesting. All right, we're going to go to Olaf. Olaf, welcome to the Wayne Bradley Show.
Yes, sir. Wayne. Thank you for taking my call, brother.
My pleasure,
the
my
only
pleasure.
Republican ever had love for. My man. You know I'm about to get down on him.
Go ahead, man.
I'm a Democrat slappy, but you know I'm about to go in on him.
It's a sad day in Democrat history.
She is a coward.
Mm-hmm.
She's a turncoat.
Yes, she is.
She's a traitor.
Yep.
What she committed was actually voter suppression.
Democrats practicing voter suppression again. Oh, Lord.
That's voter suppression, bro. She basically forced this man to resign, so she just overrid the voters of the citizens of Detroit who voted for this man. That's voter suppression.
She just basically told them their vote did not matter. I can't believe the Democrats are doing this again. This is like history repeating itself.
And nobody standing up for this man. Y'all sitting back, y'all gonna let this white woman come in here and do this to this man?
A lot of them were quiet.
The Democrats, they sitting back not saying that, they silent, and all of a sudden, your girl Sherry, after 2 weeks, now they want to come out and fight for this man 2 weeks later.
Now I gotta be fair. Sherry was fighting from day one. Now I can't speak for a lot of these other folks, but I'll say that Sherry, she's very loyal, and she was fighting for Conyers from the minute these allegations came out. So I keep up with her. She was fighting. Now a lot of these other folks, I wasn't there.
I'm not up on that. Okay, but maybe she's about the only one, because the rest of these fake ass Democrats, they sat up there and said nothing. Let this man lay over to the wayside, and you let this white woman come in here and do it. That's, like I said again, vote suppression. But real quick, Wayne, if you gave me a pick, we do need some new blood. All the Conyers, nephews and sons, grandsons.
Duking it out. Conyers versus Conyers.
Real fire.
Yep. Who would you like to see get in this race?
We need a millennial. We need a millennial up in there. Somebody that's young. It doesn't have to be a black man. Let's get a black woman up in there. Let's get Mary Sheffield up.
I like Mary Sheffield. I'm not mad at that. Mary Sheffield. That would be another interesting pick for the Democrats. They probably do. They need some new blood, and
they need some new blood. And why not a black woman? Why not a black woman?
What about my girl Chanel Jackson? Chanel Jackson would be a good pick. I wouldn't be a bad pick.
I heard of her. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah, give us a black woman. Hey, wait, real quick though. Mm-hmm. I find it kind of ironic during your opening monologue. Your man Trump, you're a tribal leader. You failed, sir. You failed to mention about his deposition that he's going to be going into the next couple of days on a allegation from a woman from 6 years ago, sir.
I'm not worried about that. He'll be fine.
You ever heard about that?
Yeah, that's not real. That's fake news. He'll be fine. Those are old allegations, unfounded allegations. Most of these things.
It's an old allegation, but it's an upcoming deposition that's going on. I think it's tomorrow or day after tomorrow.
Honestly, I'll be honest. I had not heard about him having to actually sit down in a trial or any kind of deposition, but I'll Google it right now and check it out. If he does have to do that, I suspect that he will answer the questions truthfully and move forward. I mean, again, to me, this is my thing. If I've never done anything wrong, yes, I'm not resigning. Yes, if I've never done anything wrong, also I'm not settling. Okay, so Trump has never settled. Roy Moore has never settled. And so if you're a man and you have not done these things you're being accused of, you don't back down. Mm-hmm. If you back down, it appears that maybe there's some truth to what they're talking about. And Trump doesn't back down anyway.
Sir, how do you feel about your president, sir, your sitting U.S. president, backing a man, endorsing a man that stuck his finger up 14-year-old girls behind?
I don't know nothing about that. All I know is that's a decision in the hands of Alabama.
Ray Moore.
That's a decision in the hands of folks in Alabama. John Conyers. Listen to this. Just like I said a minute ago, if he had really done some of that stuff, I think that he would know that his time had come and he would have resigned. Like, say, a certain congressman just said, "I don't feel like dealing with this anymore." But if he really didn't do it, why would he quit? Why would he drop out? That's what you got to look at it like that. If these folks really have some hardcore evidence, and I suspect even if he's elected to the Senate, he's still going to have to go through an ethics committee and review. And they've already said these are Republicans talking like this, so I still believe that it won't be all peaches and cream, and he's going to have. At the end of the day, what Trump said is that it would be a lot better to have the vote of Roy Moore's than that of a Democrat from Alabama that's not going to be strong on borders, strong on abortion, strong on military. And so he's looking at it as a vote. It's unfortunate that the man who's responsible for that vote is being accused of such heinous allegations, but none of it's been proven or any kind of proof has been made. And you had Gloria Allred that showed up in Alabama and said that they had all this proof, and nothing is really turned up yet. So if you've really done something, I really suspect that you would, especially if you're in a situation like Roy Moore, that you would just drop out. But he hasn't done that, and now we're going to put it into the hands of the people of Alabama, Olaf.
Yeah, we know. Well, we know more. He'll just be strong on raping 14-year-old girls, strong on sex allegations.
Hey, Olaf. Hey, he's listen, man. He is a Christian right icon, almost to the level of civil rights icon of John Conyers, and he was a target because of that. None of these allegations have been proven, and I think that if he'd been if he'd have been he was a state
that man on the same level as Conyers.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying in their respective worlds. I'm not saying on the same level as a man. I'm saying in their respective worlds that's what they folks in Alabama revere Ray Moore the same way people in the 13th district revere John Conyers. And so it's up to the people of Alabama to make that decision. They have to make a decision. Do they want Roy Moore or they want Evans? So we'll see what happens. Let's keep our eyes on that, Olaf. Thanks, brother, for calling in today, man. All right, we're going to go to D. What's up, D?
I'm so glad you came to me next, because it's a couple of 5 points that I want to deal with, and I know you're working against the clock, so I'm going to make this very, very brief and specific. One, the quote was, I would vote for a pedophile rather than to vote for a liberal. That's what Trump said with reference to Roy Moore in regards to the Alabama race. So don't get it twisted. Don't sugarcoat it or put a rose-tinted glass on what he said. That was his quote, with reference to, more importantly, the Pelosi situation, in reference to getting people in our district to say one thing or another. Nancy Pelosi can't say anything with regards to John Conyers. John Conyers did what he wanted to do, and that's what he did, and I support him in every way. I don't agree with him stepping down at this particular point in time, but yet and still,
he endorsed his own son. Do you think that was a good move?
I don't agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with that because, one, a 27-year-old son and a 29-year-old nephew, in terms of the House of Representatives, the cutoff date in terms of them dealing with its states.
I think it seems. Does it seem like they're entitled to that seat just because of their last name being Conyers? Is that a part of the case?
It's not entitled. It's not entitlement. I agree with that. The person that I would suggest would be somebody like, nobody has mentioned Godfrey Dillard. He's an accomplished attorney.
Godfrey Dillard very well. Yep.
He's a constitutional attorney, and he's been before different entities. This is a person who has a level head, in my opinion. Now, the bottom line, and I'm through with this, open disclosure, transparency, and accountability on all levels, especially as it relates to number 45. How can anybody say that we have to go forward when 45 has not put himself with reference to disclosure, transparency, and accountability? If one can't do, then none should do. This is D from Flint Town, signing out.
Thanks, D from Flint Town. I appreciate it, my brother. All right. So we're going to talk some more about this when we come back from the break. Like I said, we've got John Conyers, who stepped down today, endorsed his own son, who has no political experience, but he also has his great nephew who's in the race, a state senator. Got a lot to talk about coming up after the break. You're listening to The Wayne Bradley Show, 9-10 a.m., your Superstation.
is thrilling. I'm not sure just what to do. Ooh, this oasis is no mirage to me. Touching gently, feel the love in me. Tell me what you're gonna do if I love it.
When you're looking to hear the truth, we talk about it.
Why is it difficult to understand the rage of young black men who have been completely disenfranchised and then profiled? You don't assume that they're amazing and beautiful and smart and genius and gifted, and you should. But psychologically, you have been trained to think otherwise. And you've been doing it from pre-K. You've been suspending kindergartners for not being able to sit still. Then when they act out, when they wild out because of the way you're treating them, you got them on TV with police holding them to the ground and arresting them. What kind of insanity is this that the children are crying out and saying something ain't right here? And I'm just here to make an announcement, public service announcement. It's not going to come out the sky. You're going to have to decide to make a change. And you, everybody in this listening audience, is going to have to decide to cultivate some beauty.
910 AM Superstation, the only urban talk radio station in town. 910 AM Superstation is in a league of its own. We are the only talk radio station in the Metro Detroit area sensitive to the African American community.
Make sure you join us on what station?
910 AM the Superstation.
910 AM.
910 AM.
On 910 AM Superstation.
910 AM Superstation, Metro Detroit's only African American based talk radio station. It's the new show that everybody's talking about.
What you doing, man?
For all the wrong reasons.
You're that lady that does everything. Says, no, ma'am. Don't do everything.
Catch 910 AM Superstation Uncut, airing every Saturday night at 1 a.m. on WADL Detroit.
Oh, hell no!
You'll see the drama.
That's why you got all those cougars running around.
Ooh, cause shout out to my mama.
The comedy.
So I remember one time, a long time ago, a popular radio personality tried to fill on me, Coco. And,
the off-the-chain opinions.
Y'all need to get down with Mr. Dan Gilbert. You know Mr. Dan. I be like, man, take Dan Gilbert penis out your mouth, man.
And hear the calls that make you say, bye, Felicia.
Appreciate you holding, man. How are you?
You know what, man? I like your show. Please don't put Sam Riddle on there, man.
Tune into the hottest news show in late nights. It's 910 AM Superstation Uncut, and it's only on WADL Detroit. It's the new show that everybody's talking about for all the wrong reasons. Catch 910 AM Superstation Uncut, airing every Saturday night at 1 a.m. on WADL Detroit.
There's always somebody who knows how to mess something up. We call them... It's the wire hanger of the week. No more hangers.
You'll see the drama.
They should make a cartoon. Little black girl marries Prince. And they could have her like in the hood with Shaquanda. Like, girl, I'm gonna be a princess one day.
The comedy.
Mike eats 2 tacos, looks at me and goes, you wanna eat all that? I said, come on, bro.
The off-the-chain opinions. And hear the calls that make you say, bye, Felicia. Tune into the hottest news show in late nights. It's 910 AM Superstation Uncut, and it's only on WADL Detroit. Don't miss the best day party in town every Saturday at 4 p.m. on 910 AM Superstation with Chuck Bennett.
If I meet 2 people at each party, that's 10 people every week that I meet. At the end of the year, that's 520 people at parties.
Right.
That's a lot of names to remember.
That is.
But now, so then I get somebody who comes up to me and says, hi, Chuck, do you remember me? All right, you do the math.
Saturdays at 4 p.m. only on 910 AM Superstation.
How do I say goodbye to what we had? The good time that made us laugh, outweigh them bad.
be all right. We'll be all right, man. Stop, man. Hey, man. John Conyers had to step down today. It's been a rough day in Detroit politics. I just still can't believe Nancy Pelosi did that. Just can't believe how far the Democrats have fallen here. It's just unreal. We're going to keep talking. We got so many callers here calling in. Everybody's got a lot to say here today about this. We're gonna go to Dr. Mack because he's been waiting the longest, and I'm sure he wants to give me an education here. Dr. Mack, welcome to the show. Join with me.
Thank you, Wayne. Absolutely an education, but it's an education based in fact, not fallacy, that you speak in. First of all, in terms of Nancy Pelosi,
yes,
Nancy Pelosi has done nothing to John Conyers.
Oh.
You insult John Conyers and his mind and his mentality to say that someone forced him out. No one forced John Conyers to do anything. John Conyers, after consulting with his family, his own thoughts, his own God, his own status, decided that he wanted to resign immediately. There was no
he retired. His official thing is he retired today.
Yes, yeah,
he didn't even resign. He
retired.
Right.
Well, hold it. A retirement in midterm is a resignation, Wayne. Okay, so the reality of it is that he
was forced to resign then.
Doing that. Excuse me?
Well, then he was forced to resign. He didn't plan on resigning when he came home.
Wayne. Nobody forced John Conyers to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you would ever talk to John Conyers or his family, say, well, did someone threaten him? Did someone force him? No. You see, Wayne, what you're doing is you're living the mantra of when the rabbit. Wayne, you know what? If you're going to continue to try to talk, you prove yourself to be a person that can't have a debate.
I'm listening
to you. What I'm telling you is, excuse me?
I said, I'm listening to you, sir.
Oh, okay. What you're doing, Wayne, is you're living the mantra of when the rabbit screams, the fox comes running, but not to help. You are trying to posture yourself. You just can't believe that Nancy Pelosi did this. Your goal is not to further the ends of the Democratic Party. As a paid Republican operative, your goal is to try to diminish the Republican Party. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to play the Democrats against themselves. For example,
I'm trying to play the Democrats against themselves? Did I call for John Conyers to resign? Wait a minute, Dr. Mack. I resent that. I did not get in the middle of this.
Wayne,
I stood up and supported John Conyers yesterday. I was at Hartford.
Wayne, once again, you prove yourself incapable of a debate because you.
I just want to correct you on that. You can't say that I got in the middle of that. I didn't have anything.
Wayne, what I'm saying is when you get on the airways and say you can't believe Nancy Pelosi did that,
I can't.
A Republican as yourself, and what I'm saying is if Nancy Pelosi had said nothing, your mantra would be in your party, well, I thought they're supposed to be protecting women. One of these women that's made allegation was a black woman, maybe two or three of them. How come they're not standing up for women? So what you do is, and it's such an elementary tactic, no matter what the Democrats do, you try to criticize. You play the other end. Now, for example, there is a Republican congressman from Texas, all right, sending nude photographs out, all right? So what I'm saying is...
Why are we bringing that up right now as John Conyers had to resign? What does that have to do with this?
Wayne, what you're talking about is supposed hypocrisy. What I don't see is Paul Ryan coming out saying that congressman should resign and quit the way he said about John Conyers. That is a fact, Wayne.
Maybe the fact that Republicans actually stick up for their own, and compared to how Pelosi wouldn't stick up for John Conyers. How about that, buddy?
Wayne, and what I'm saying is, Wayne, when you make an ignorant statement like that,
I'm not making any ignorant statements here, Dr. Mack.
You are making an ignorant statement.
You're the one defending Nancy Pelosi for forcing John Conyers to resign.
Wayne, what you're saying is, listen to what you just said. Republicans stick up for their own. It's not a matter about sticking up for your own, Wayne. Just like Michael Steele said, the Republicans have got to remember their history. It is country before party. And so what I'm telling you is this, is that in terms of Nancy Pelosi, in terms of her saying that he should step down, she's got every right to say that, whether I agree with it or not.
All right.
In terms of due process, wait a minute, Wayne, wait a minute.
I got to get to my next caller, Dr. Mack. I got to get to my next caller in a minute. I want to let you get the last word here, okay? Go ahead.
What I'm saying is that Mr. Conyers made a decision that he felt was best for himself and his family and his legacy. Nancy Pelosi and no one else forced him to do anything. That is an insult to that man to say somebody forced him to do anything.
Okay, fair enough. If that's what your opinion is, fair enough, Dr. Mack. We're going to the next caller here. We're going to go to Miss Marcia. Miss Marcia, thank you for calling in today.
Thank you so much for taking my call. You know, that was a bunch of nonsense there. Now, you know, did Mr. Nago, did they talk anything about the women who had been who had accused the president of violating him in his office?
No, Sherry did not. I didn't hear her talk about that. I just saw her defense of John Conyers.
Well, you see, that's what's wrong with them Pharaoh Democrats. We tired of them. And Bernie Sanders, we got somebody going to run against Feinstein and Pelosi. We got progressive.
Who do you want to see run? I already know who you want to see run for Congress. Who you want to see run for Congress?
Well, I think Dr. Bullock.
David Bullock.
I mean, the man is both. Yes, I know certainly do.
Bullock's already got two callers tonight that are looking to support him.
You know, he does the things just like what Martin Luther King was doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Martin Luther King recommended Conyers for his position, and the brother has his finger on the pulse of the people here. He can encourage the young people to get out and vote. You know, we need young, new, energetic blood like you. You too.
Me too.
And David Bullock. We are tired of them pharaohs. We have given those pharaohs the best life.
Right.
Do you know a congressman has one of the best lives you can live? His family lives in the lap of luxury. They get top dollar on everything. Who are they talking about what they doing for us? Amen. We down here so doggone poor, both for these rich people.
It's time to change it. It's time to change it, Miss Marcia. It's time to change it. I don't know if it's going to be the Bernie Sanders wing, but we're going to see. I'm going to keep my eye on you. I know you guys love Bernie, and you're ready to feel the burn one more time here in 2018.
We're going to resist the Democrats.
That's right. Resist the Democrats. Resist the Democrats. Resist. That's right. Get the pink hats out. Resist the Democrats. Nancy Pelosi is racist. Can't believe it. Unreal.
No. I don't think she's racist. You know what? She looked at his record. You need to ask them why did she feel that he had to go? Because you don't have.
Because honestly, she knows that they'll put another Conyers in the seat. She doesn't care. Just as long as we have another black person in the seat. She didn't have any value on John Conyers himself, the man himself and his legacy. She says, hey, we'll get another black person in that seat. She doesn't care about that.
They don't care because you know what? Corporations, bankers, lobbyists, special interests, the military, and those companies owns all politicians in America. They work for the empire of America. Do you understand me? That's bottom line.
All right.
First, okay?
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Marcia.
There's an inside man in there, and David Bullock is the man to be the inside man.
All right. Well, thank you, Marcia. I appreciate you calling in. Hey, that's a couple calls for Bullock here. I'm getting a couple calls for David Bullock to run for Congress. Brother Bullock, hope you're listening. Get you in here one of these days. We could talk about that. That'd be an interesting race. David Bullock. All right, let's go to Matilda. Matilda's been waiting. Matilda, thank you for waiting.
Thank you for taking my call, Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Mentioning David Bullock, he needs to clean up his language.
Yes,
he
does.
Filthy mouth.
Oh, I've told him all about it myself. That's a good friend of mine. He said some awful things about me on the radio.
Tell him about how filthy his mouth is, and sometimes children are listening to the station, and I'm disappointed at the things
that a reverend of all, that a reverend on top of that. I've told him that.
I agree.
He can work on that.
Tell him again.
I'll definitely will relay the message. He's a good candidate, but he's got to clean up that potty mouth a little bit. I'm going to let him know. Thank you so much, Matilda. All right, we're going to go to Harry. Harry.
Hello.
Hey, Harry.
How are you? Yeah. Thanks for taking my call. I just had a comment.
Mm-hmm.
I've been listening to this station all day.
Right.
And it's really depressing to me because all I'm hearing is I'm a African American Detroit resident.
Right.
Really Detroit, live in Detroit.
Right.
And so I'm a supporter of Detroit and the people in Detroit. And I'm really disappointed. I also supported Trump last election.
All right, my kind of guy.
I wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan of what the Democrats were doing, and they're still out of control.
Yes,
But
they are.
You pointed out tonight, and I heard all day, all everybody is talking about is now the only thing everybody wants to talk about is which of Conyers,
Which
young
Conyers do we want?
is going to run against each other. And they even talking about Coleman Young Jr. I mean, we have a soap opera mindset, and I don't know if it's the education that the state of Michigan is giving us or what, but it's such a contrast when you hear Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump is a successful businessman. We won't talk about morality or any of this kind of stuff.
Right.
He's a successful businessman. He's an outsider who ran a campaign in spite of his fellow Republicans and everybody else in the country and got elected president. So you would have to say, if nothing else, even if you don't like him, that he's a good strategist, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
So while you hear the Detroit, beautiful Detroiters all day long arguing about personality and, should we have a man? Should we have a woman?
Right.
What is Trump talking about? He wants somebody that will support his agenda in Congress.
Right.
That's what the game is. The game isn't how you feel. The game isn't in your feelings.
I keep saying this. You know what, Harry? You're saying exactly.
A majority in Congress so you can enact the stuff that you want to enact, so you can lower your taxes.
Right.
That's why. It's a game.
Here's the problem. But this is the thing, like how you were just saying about personality and emotion. I hate to say this, and I might get a couple more calls on for saying it, but Democrats have mastered tapping into the emotion of black voters. Never really having to deliver, but they have learned how to tap into the emotions. They know it around election time.
You throw in Stockholm syndrome.
Right. You throw in the race card. You throw in a couple scary commercials.
You would think after 40 years of Detroit swirling around the toilet, that just for the hell of it, we would try something different.
Yep.
But no. It's like we're stuck to Democrats. People don't even respect their parents or their children like we respect the Democratic Party.
Well, this is the thing. Like I said, they tap into an emotion, and then they capitalize on that. For years it was, they tap into things that they know that'll get people going. The war on women. Now they can't really even use that one on anymore. They always come back to us with Republicans are racist, so you got to support the Democrat Party because we're the only people that care about black people.
And can I make a quick comment, please, about the whole sexual abuse thing that's going through?
Mm-hmm.
If it's wrong for Moore or Trump or Billy Bush or whoever, if it's wrong for all these people, it's wrong for John Conyers. And to all the women and people out there that don't want a culture of abuse, you got to stop fighting this politically.
Mm-hmm.
You got to make it so it's just wrong for a man to do that to a woman, whether the man is a Democrat or Republican.
What about, is it also wrong for a woman to do that to a man if she's in a position of power?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's all bullying and abuse, and whoever does it, if you keep letting the people off because they're on your side, we're never going to change anything because whoever does something, they're going to have half the country behind them anyway, just because he's standing up saying, hey, I'm a Democrat, or hey, I'm a Republican.
Mitt Romney made a comment earlier today saying that we cannot afford to give away our integrity, and essentially the country loses if we make those kind of bad decisions. So there are some Republicans that are making that known, and you got to vote on principle. Jeff Flake actually sent over $100 to the Democrats' campaign today. I mean, it's an interesting time in politics right now, Harry. But I think right now, who do you think should be a good candidate to run for this congressional seat now that John Conyers is retired?
Okay, I would like to see somebody that's been fighting Bullock, I've been to his church a couple of times. He is in the streets fighting. I think he would be an excellent person. I don't think they'll let him anywhere near Congress because they'll pull out some of his radio shows.
Oh, yeah.
And the mess they had, what was that preacher that was messing up Obama? Once they have a couple of his sermons on the radio, they're not going.
See, this is my thing. If I'm Bullock and they do that to me, he needs to just go Trump style and be unapologetic and say, "This is what I said," and keep it moving. He doesn't owe anybody an apology for that. And I don't even agree with half the stuff that Bullock talks about. But that's not the point. Is that he has the right to do it. And if you're going to be a man about it, speak up and say what you mean, and don't back down. That's what I've learned that from Donald Trump. If you say it, stand by what you said and don't back down. That's why I respect Trump.
He's a man of God. Would you do me a favor, sir?
Mm-hmm.
Would you please do me a favor? The next caller, when they talk about who they want, would you please ask them what issue is important? Because I've been listening to the station all day, and I just want to hear one Detroit person mention one issue that might be important to them as black people, as Detroit residents, instead of saying, man, woman, left-handed, right-handed, the red, the blue. Can we just please talk
Let's see what
about
the important issues are.
Matters?
Yeah, let's see what the important issues are.
Just one issue. Any issue.
Fair enough, Harry. I will do that for you, my brother. Thank you for calling in. All right, we're going to go. We got David on the line. We're going to go to David.
Oh, okay, Wayne.
Yes.
First off.
Go ahead.
Miss Marcia.
Mm-hmm.
I've been wanting to say this for the longest.
Go ahead.
She's always talking about her 2 million black men saving $20 for 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
I want her to initiate it and get it started. She go out there and recruit all these 2 million black men because I think it's a ridiculous idea. But since it's her plan, she needs to initiate it and get it started. I don't want to hear no more you Marcia calling in talking about 2 million black men. You need to go find the 2 million black men.
I love when you guys start junk with each other, man. I really enjoy that sometimes.
Okay. I got that out of the way.
All right.
I got that out of the way. Now, okay, back to
the Conyers fiasco.
Conyers. Oh, you know what's the fiasco? The most ridiculous thing I've heard today that this guy said he wants to endorse his son. You know what? He thinks we're all. You know what Kanye thinks?
He thinks he's stupid.
He thinks he's a god.
Yep, he thinks he can just. He can say whatever.
He thinks
whatever he wants goes.
He thinks we're all a bunch of dummies. We're his children, and this just, I'm telling you, because these folks in Detroit, you call him an icon, the dean, man.
He is, he is an icon. He actually worked with Martin Luther King. I mean, he helped get the Martin Luther King holiday. He did some important stuff a long time ago. We can't take that away from him.
He introduced some legislation to give some slavery reparations for the black folks. And that paper, that legislation never made it to the floor.
Even when Obama was in there for 8 years. Even with 8 years of Obama, we couldn't get that reparations bill out there, man.
No, you couldn't. And you know what? He figured, hey, if they elect my son, he can work on it and get the black folks they check. Because they're waiting on it, and they say, figure, hey, keep him in there, another Conyers, because he's working on getting us a reparations check, which is ridiculous. Black folks, you ain't getting no check. You wasn't let me explain to you. You wasn't enslaved. Well, you enslaved, no. And your ancestors that worked in slavery, they were sold by your African kings.
Now you cutting in deep over there, David. Now you starting to give a real history lesson there. But look, I've always said this, man. Listen, we have cut out reparations and stuff for other groups. Maybe out of free college or a mortgage or something on the crib, something. Well, then they can't put nothing together, a little package. Come on, John.
Look, Wayne.
It ain't happening.
Old black folks. It ain't happening. Nobody owes black folks nothing.
Hey,
Okay? Get that out of your ridiculous head. Okay?
Thank you, David. I appreciate you. I appreciate you calling in on the Wayne Bradley Show. We're going to a break here. I got to give today. He's absolutely right. We have no reparations coming. I don't think we should get our hopes set on that, but God bless John Conyers for the 50-plus years of trying to get that done. Oh, so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. We'll be back on the Wayne Bradley Show on 9:10 a.m. your Superstation.
There's so much more that I could do for you, yeah. But you just won't let me give you my love, boy. What is wrong with you? Don't you know?
Nine 10 a.m. Superstation, giving you exactly what you need by any means necessary. Thank you for calling 910 a.m. Superstation. What's your question or comment?
And what a lot of people don't know about Colin Kaepernick is he had rented a plane, donated $50,000 to, it was at Libya. In the off-season, he bought boxes of, suits to hand out to parolees, if you will, in Queens, New York. He took a knee. Now, when I first saw it, I thought, I'm not sure if this is the place, the venue to do it. And then I took a step back and did some research, did my due diligence, and I said, well, when do you? And I hate to say the word protest. I don't, for lack of a better word, because it has such a negative connotation. But where do you protest? It's not at a venue. It's not in the streets, in front of the Capitol or the White House. Where do you protest? In the privacy of your own home? That doesn't get your message out.
We are 910 a.m. Superstation, the voice of Detroit. 910 a.m. Superstation, the only urban talk radio station in town.
How you gonna be nonviolent in Mississippi as violent as you were in Korea? How can you justify being nonviolent in Mississippi and Alabama when your churches are being bombed and your little girls are being murdered? And at the same time, you're gonna get violent with Hitler and Tojo and somebody else that you don't even know. If violence is wrong in America, violence is wrong abroad. If it's wrong to be violent, defending black women and black children and black babies and black men, then it's wrong for America to draft us and make us violent abroad in defense of her. And if it is right for America to draft us and teach us how to be violent in defense of her, then it is right for you and me to do whatever is necessary to defend our own people right here in this country.
910 a.m. Superstation, the voice of Detroit. There's always something new to talk about, and 910 a.m. Superstation wants to have you covered from every angle. So we're adding some familiar voices and strong opinions to the best talk radio station in town.
Hi, I'm Rochelle Riley, and I'm so glad to be joining the family at 910 a.m. Superstation. We're going to be talking about it all Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Don't miss it.
910 a.m. Superstation, the voice of Detroit. 910 a.m. Superstation is the voice of the people. Don't believe me? Just listen.
910 a.m. has something that no other station has. A platform for everyone to have a voice. Black, white, young, old. It's a place for people to be themselves.
I love 910 a.m. So many articulate and thoughtful, diverse voices and wonderful stories.
So when you think of 910 a.m. Superstation, we want you to tune in, call in, and don't forget to find us on social media. Every weeknight at 9 p.m. is something new and something fresh.
This is Todd Corser, and I want you to check out my show. Listen in and call every week as we explore government and hot topics. Tune in, raw and uncut.
This is attorney Michael Schwartz at 910 a.m. Superstation, and you can hear me every Tuesday night starting at 9 p.m.
Hello, Detroit. This is attorney Crystal Crittenden, and please tune in to my new show, The Truth Matters, on 910 AM Superstation.
Hello, everyone. I'm Charlene Mitchell, your host of Mind Your Business. Listen to my show live every Thursday from 9 to 11 p.m.
I'm Reverend Maya Lisa Reynolds, inviting you to listen to Mama Maya Speaks Friday evenings from 9 until 11 p.m., discussing education, motivation, and inspiration on Superstation 910 AM.
Different names, different voices, but the same energy. 910 AM Superstation, the voice of Detroit. Don't miss the best day party in town every Saturday at 4 p.m. on 910 AM Superstation with Chuck Bennett.
If I meet 2 people at each party, that's 10 people every week that I meet. At the end of the year, that's 520 people at parties.
Right.
That's a lot of names to remember.
That is.
But now, so then I get somebody who comes up to me and says, "Hi, Chuck, do you remember me?" All right, you do the math.
Saturdays at 4 p.m. only on 910 AM Superstation.
Listen live now. The number one station, period.
And on that note, let's get back to the program.
You're listening to 910 AM Superstation, Detroit's only urban talk radio station.
How do I say goodbye to what we had? The good time that made us laugh, outweigh the bad. I thought we'd get to see forever, but forever's gone away. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
And welcome back to the Wayne Bradley Show. Oh, this song takes me back. Takes me back when I was a young lad, when John Conyers was my state rep, my congressman, I'm sorry. And it's going to be a great journey. It's been a great journey, John Conyers. We've had a lot of calls today for Reverend Bullock to run for Congress. And I agree with the one caller. I think Bullock will be an interesting choice. He's just got to stop all that darn cursing. Got to stop talking nasty on the radio. He said a lot of nasty things on the radio. He said some things about me that were promos for about a week or two. I mean, the guy just says some nasty things. We're gonna work on that, Bullock. I can work with you on that, buddy. So give us a call, 313-209-9000. What do you want to say here as we say goodbye to the John Conyers era? 50-plus years in the seat. Unreal. And now he wants to pass it down to his son, John Conyers III. Should be an interesting election period here. You'll have John Conyers III. You have Ian Conyers, Coleman Young, maybe Janice Winfrey. I don't know. Who else could jump into this race? Sherry Degnogo could jump in. That might just make it that could just set this thing off. But Detroiters, I want to know, what are the issues that are important to you? Give us a call, 313-209-9000, and let us know. Who do you want to see run, and what are the issues that are important to you? So hard to say goodbye. Let's go to Jerome on the line, who's been patiently waiting. Jerome, thank you. Welcome to the Wayne Bradley Show.
How you doing, Wayne Bradley?
Jerome, I recognize that voice. That is my mentor, my OG. Welcome to the show, sir.
This is my first time listening to your show. It's a very, very interesting show, Wayne.
Thank you. I appreciate you listening in. What do you think of all the things that have happened?
I called to talk about John Conyers. I remember as a young man at Push in Chicago, John Conyers came in, and in terms of his work in civil rights and helping black people, he was a stalwart. He didn't ask for a lot of praise, but He was a hard worker.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the fact that he introduced reparations legislation for a number of years, to me, is visionary, particularly when you look at the historic deprivation of university equality for black folks.
Gotcha.
And we should celebrate the fact that we had a John Conyers in Congress.
No question
who
about
fought for the rights of black folks. And looking forward, we need to look at the issue of group economics.
Okay.
We need to look at the issue of group economics because black people contribute $1.2 trillion to the American economy, and they harvest less than 2%.
Right.
The enemy's in the mirror. The enemy's self-inflicted.
Mm-hmm.
When we look for who's going to be our next representative in the historically black congressional district, the 13th district, we're going to need somebody who understands economics and how to invigorate the call for group economics in the black community.
Someone who understands it like yourself, Mr. Barney.
I understand it, and but I'm not running.
I tried, folks. If y'all listen to that, I tried to pull it out right there. Let me just say this, Wayne. I'm not running because I'm a Republican. I've been a Republican for 40 years, and I don't think that we have in our community the recognition that we should be in both political parties. And I think that's been one thing that has really hurt the black community in terms of its economic empowerment. Right.
Having one agenda in both parties so that whomever wins, we win. That's not the strategy. We've had a very emotional position, and rightfully so, because being discriminated against and living in an unequal society, that's something that requires, or at least generates an emotional response. Economics is strategic.
Right.
So I think moving forward, we need to look at the strategy of group economics and how we can put in place someone who can go to Congress and focus on how we can empower black folks to create an economic legacy through doing business with each other.
Amen to that. Well, I hope at some point I got to bring you into the studio to drop more of this knowledge, JB. I do appreciate you calling in today, and I'm sure there will probably be more phone calls to you and people wondering what do you have planned in this special election season. But thank you, sir, for dropping that knowledge.
The pleasure's all mine, and keep up the good work. We need to have a diversity of voices, and I appreciate your diversity.
Thank you.
With respect to talking about the GOP, and nobody's blacker than you. You love black people just like all the Democrats.
Right. No doubt about it. Thank you, JB. I appreciate you calling in, sir. All right, let's go to Chris, calling all the way from the 517 up from Lansing. Hey, Chris, thank you for calling in.
Hey, Wayne, how you do?
I'm all right. How you doing, man?
Fantastic. Just put my outdoor Christmas lights. My house is beautiful and Christmassy.
Awesome. I'm in the Christmas spirit myself, man. What are you thinking as you're watching all this happening down here in the Detroit area? What has happened with this congressional situation? Nancy Pelosi putting the pressure on John Conyers to resign. What do you think about this?
I think Conyers took a lot of stuff into his own hands and took some power away from Pelosi, as a man should, because he'd be the man who's been doing this longer than Pelosi and knowing how to do it smarter than Pelosi. So he took the influence, took the power, took the initiative away from her, and so she is left holding nothing in her two scraggly, witchy hands, and he looks like the man.
And do you think, because I think it's going to hurt when you have someone like Nancy Pelosi, who was, I think, it was last year. She was the keynote speaker at the NAACP dinner, which is irony in itself, because she probably sat right next to John Conyers. But do you think she's going to try to come back here and help someone like Gretchen Whitmer? How do you think that's going to play in urban cities across the state of Michigan, in particular in Detroit, where she's going to come into this district and try to walk around with Gretchen Whitmer and try to communicate that she is the best candidate that black voters in the Detroit area are going to have to pick. How can that happen now after the way she's treated John Conyers?
Well, I don't think she's going to push turnout very well, and I think she'll have a bit of trouble getting somebody with the stature of Conyers to show up on her behalf, stand up and introduce her at the dais.
I think it's gonna hurt her credibility, and not just in Detroit, but it will be some other caucus members that who will not forget about this as well. Might be some out in California where she lives, and it could be others that will say, you know what, I don't want Nancy Pelosi coming here because the last person you came to an NAACP dinner with, you stabbed them in the back. Is that how we do things in the Democrat Party now? And I think the resounding answer was yes, in particular for those gentlemen. So, Chris, I think it's been interesting watching the Democrat Party implode as of the last few days.
It's been a lot of fun.
And I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it, my friend.
Of course, they don't even wait for the new year, man. It's like an early Christmas present.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
just have the violence now.
Christmas is definitely is right here in early December, man. Well, hey, man, I appreciate you calling in all the way from up in Lansing. Thanks for listening in, Chris, and you have a blessed day, my friend. All right, we're going to go to my guy because I know he's feeling good. He's ready to spike the football with me. We're going to bring in Walter. Walter's on the line.
All right, get ready. So fast, TD Snake or Jake. And by the way, the reason I call him TD Snake, you know what he did, brother? He's a Christian guy.
Mm-hmm.
He backstabbed the Republicans, and of course, he probably never was a Republican. And he voted and endorsed in Osama Insane Obama, known as Ali Rashid Omar Barack Obama. I've got to stress that all the time. So his name for me went from TD Jakes to TD Snake and Fake. That's right. And I think there's a guy by the name of Bishop Blake that people like the Embalming Fluid Church of
Walter, you stop that. You behave yourself, man. Tell me this. You tell me this, Walter. Who do you think should jump in this race in the 13th? Now, obviously, I'm sure you would like to see a good Republican get in the race, and a lot of these people on here are calling for Bullock to jump in the race. Who would you like to see get in the race? Would be a good representative.
That's where I was going. I'm gonna rule out certain ones.
All right.
Okay. It's got to be Republican because it's going to be the same dried out, fried out, dragged out, drug out names.
Mm-hmm.
And they starting to mention names already. They still haven't learned their lesson, the folks in Detroit.
Well, you've already got two Conyers in the race, and you've got Coleman Young already in the race.
This is crazy, man. It's like a soap opera. No hope opera. This is madness, man. Utter madness. Repeating the same thing and getting no results. Voting for the Democrat junkieitis disease party.
Yeah,
just because they're Democrat and just because they're black.
Yeah,
okay?
they've had us locked in for a long time. They're not trying to give that up.
People, like Miss Marcia, she needs to get a life, by the way, because she started. And David took care for me. But man, she's getting more and more insane by the minute. And by the way, she's burning my ears out by yelling in the phone all the time. I have to turn my radio down. I love you, Miss Marcia, but
y'all are hilarious. Y'all are hilarious.
That stupid $10 plan of hers, man. Who ever heard of such foolishness? Negroes ain't gonna unite on that nonsense. And she's been saying that for years, ever since she's been calling this radio station. And it sounds good on the radio. I think she's auditioning for her career in foolishness. That's right, I said it, Miss Marcia. Okay, here we go. I would not endorse, well, you and myself would not endorse none of those hashed out, dragged out names they throwing out there. It's got to be Republican. And let me back up a little bit. I'm gonna tell you some of the cliches I'm tired of hearing from people on this station. And one of them, I think he was a Republican that just got off 1 or 2 callers ago.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna bless no mess.
All right.
I'm sick of this. We need black economic empowerment.
Right.
Oh, that sounds so noble and it sounds so holy, though. But the problem is you got it right in your grasp by a man that was voted in office that was prophesied by, including black prophets and other people that heard from God in the spiritual. I know people on the station don't even want nothing about no spiritual. They want everything in the natural. So they looking for their great white or black hope politician to come in the natural.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't know a good candidate, like I always said, if they dropped out of heaven on top of their heads, because Donald Trump is the person they reject. With the perfect policies and agenda, yes, the Republican Party is the difference in heaven and hell and night and day. And you and I know, so they're coming at us like, well, what about this Republican? Well, we're not talking about them. We're talking about the true conservative Republican like Donald Trump, who has created more jobs in his dreams. By the way, if he even think of a job, he created more than any Democrat that's ever ran this country, locally, nationally. He created more than Barack Obama did in 8 years. The great destroyer of jobs, the coal and the oil hater. Just put gas in our homes and heat in our homes, gas in our cars. He hated it. He even recorded that clown the first time he was running for president. I'm talking about Barack Hussein Osama again, who said he wanted gas prices to be $4, and that's during the days it was over $4 a gallon. Well, Bush was in office. No. During that time, the Democrat Congress blocked Bush from want to have an energy policy, and they blocked him. They fought against Bush. So then fracking came about, and it was like a bailout from the Lord right there, God. The reason gas prices went down cheaper under Barack Obama. He had nothing to do with it because he's against oil and gas. He's a global warmer.
Actually, what happened there, what actually happened, Walter, was that they wanted to put Russia out of business. So the Saudis and everybody flooded the market with a bunch of cheap oil to put Russia in a very financial bind. So that's why those prices got so low during that time frame.
And not only that, Barack Obama, he had an excuse for everything. He said, put air in your tires. Remember that one? When people were suffering, inflate your tires, do all the stupid things that the global warming, God-hating, or what they call environmental people who love the Democrats anyway, because they know the Democrats going to put up with their foolishness and pass their policies to further destroy the economy in the United States. So they're bad fellows, the Democratic Party and the global warming. I never heard a time, I thought I'd see the time where a Negro will actually be believing in global warming. They're believing anything. They're grasping anything just to push any Democrat's name, any Democrat job-destroying, God-hating, Israel-hating agenda. And I'll tell you what, Nancy Pelosi is a racist.
There we go. That's what I wanted you to end it with something hardcore like that. You end it one more time. Let them know, because I said it once. They need to hear it again.
Nancy Pelosi and the Democratic Party that was born out of hell from the origination is racist. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to reinforce what David said as far as your so-called, and David had me cracking up. So the so-called reparations, you ain't going to get it. This is my solution for these black folks talking about they want reparations. You got to dig up the graves of all those dead Civil War Democrats, the Ku Klux Klan back in the day that hung your black behinds, your grandparents, your grandpappies and granddaddies, and those Kunta Kintes and Chicken Georges and Tobys and Kizzies that voted for them Democrats. You better dig up them graves. You want your reparations? Dig up the graves of those white people.
Yeah, you off the hook, Walter. Man, I'm getting off the air, man. You off the hook tonight, Walter.
Check this out. One more thing. Here's the answer. If you want reparations, you ain't gonna get it. Get a job, you lazy bum.
Oh, get out of here, Walter. You're bad. He's bad, man. Walter's a bad man. That man's a bad man. All right, we're going to go to Bay Reed. This is going to be interesting. We're going from Walter to Bay Reed. You know this is about to be popping. Bay Reed, thank you for calling in.
You know. First of all, let me get my high five all the authority over me and them and those that know that had the faith and trust in him, and give all the glory and honor to him and those that know who to follow. Mr. Bannon.
Yes, sir.
You know, I used to listen to you in the morning, and I used to want to try to have a mindset of which way, how can I love this brother? First of all, let me give you this first. I'm gonna give you two needs, and not one need. I'm giving you two needs. Also, Reverend Bullock, I'm giving y'all two needs right now as we speak. You understand, and let you know. I'm sharing this here with you because it's one thing I know for sure. A man is a man by standing on his word and doing what he say he gonna do and be as wise as his word. I can't read or write or spell or none of those things. My mother is 109 years old. I have 17 kids. I got 2 doctors, 2.5 doctors in the family, and a lawyer, and so on and so on. But anyway, I want to just get back to you to share the love with you. And to give you this here tonight. I want to give you this here tonight.
All
and
right.
thank God for you. Thank God for you and Reverend Bullock and 910 especially for your spirits to go over the airways for everybody to detect what it is, who it is, and what is being done in this world today. Now, whatever book you read, it's gonna say judge ye not. It's gonna say judge ye not, lest ye be judged. Right?
Yes, sir.
We're not supposed to judge no man. And when we denounce certain things about any conversation of judging or judging of or being judged of, that's counteracting on what we know and understand when we saying different things about each other. And I'm only saying that to say, you know, a mind is a terrible thing to waste, even though I can't read or write, but I do understand. And my mother is 109 years old. She stay on the computer. She converses with me day and night.
That's a blessing right there.
Yes, sir, and keep me up on things to give me education so I can walk right and talk and try to be right in this world.
Okay.
And I'm only saying these things because you're very, very articulate. And the caller they called 2 callers ago, that was a very wise man, and I understand him, and I like the way he converse and talk. And he give good analogy. Now I know you said I can't read, but I be saying words that a dumb man shouldn't be knowing and talking like this. It's because my mother, she puts in me what she wants to come out of me, and I'm not trying to be somebody that I know that I'm not, because I'm nobody really. I'm only doing what God has put on my heart and my spirit to do, for me to give goodness out, because whatever you give out, it come back to you. What goes up must come down, and it ain't but 2 things, right or wrong or good or bad. Ain't no in betwixt nothing. So, and all with that, now we talk about our 45th. We say things about him that we don't know or understand, because you never know another man's heart. And the only reason you don't know another man's heart, because if there's a higher power, it's going to be done like he say do. He said, do as I say, not as I do. And when you're doing what you want to do, you're not doing as he tell us to do. And when we speak of things of judging people and doing out of an ordinary, you don't understand how life is going. And it's going to go the way the higher power wanted to go. And when I'm saying these things, you're a very powerful young man. Even though you may not see it or feel it, Brother Bullock, he's a very powerful young man. And a lot of things we try to do, but we know in all actuality you can't do it. Because what God wants, he going to get. And if we don't understand all the trials and tribulations that we done went through, that at the end of the rainbow, they say, is a pot of gold. All we got to do is continue to stay strong, keep doing what we're doing, and fight the battle and stay on the battlefield. Because this is a battle where we are today. Because he say, on earth are things of earth, and in heaven are things of heaven. And you can make heaven hell, you can make hell heaven. And I'm saying that for all the things that's going on now, if they haven't been through nothing, they won't know how to do nothing. And if they ain't been through nothing, you won't know how to control nothing. And everybody articulate things the way they think they should go. But it's not the way that they wanted to go. It's in divine order. It's going to come back around to wherever it started at. And you know that bone was supposed to be that bone of whoever. You understand me?
Yes,
and when you realize that from the beginning to the end, we're going to suffer a bit to know what we got to do when we get it. Because if you got something, you don't know how to deal with it and share it, you're going to lose it. And a squeaky wheel get the grease. And a silent man sees all and knows all. And you have to know these things in order to walk in the divine order. And the divine order is for the truth to be shared and the truth to be given. And when you holding a child up from an education, he's not going to know which way to go. And if you be divided, I can conquer you. But if you understand who it is, what it is making all that trouble for itself, then you know how you going to bring things together for us to be together. Because this world is a one-man plan. And if you can't understand that, you're going to be divided. You're going to be conquered. And if they don't feel to know what the United States means to it, with all these different nationalities that's coming into the world and doing what they want to do and knowing that they're trying to get it all and do what they want to do with the rich and leave the unforgotten behind, their eyes is closed to themselves because you got to give out something in order for something to come back. A closed hand can't receive anything. And a mouth that don't speak and to denounce the truth, you be lost and you're going to lose everybody else. And those that's following will be lost and caught up into rapture. And you got to understand these things to know you are first and it is last. And if you don't understand your path, you can never conquer the future. The future belongs to all of those that know what the divine order means. Do as I say do, not as you want to. And you don't follow no man unless he's leading you to the promised land. The promised land is the things of goodness and gloriness, happiness and peacefulness, knowledge. Without knowing where you done been, you haven't gained anything. And I have to give you this tonight. Like I said, I give you 2 leads.
Thank
and
you.
Reverend Bullock, I give him 2 leads. I'm nothing. I'm nobody. I can't read or write, but I got about a whole lot of friends that when you leave a note behind, those that spank me on my right and then spank me on my left, they're going to be left behind. God bless you, and you have a blessed night, my brother, and I love you. Continue doing what you're doing.
I appreciate that, baby. You have a blessed evening too, my brother.
Thank you, sir. You have a good one.
All right. I needed that. I needed that good word. Thanks for calling in today. Listen, folks, give us a call, 313-209-9000. We're wrapping up this conversation about John Conyers and how he was forced out by Nancy Pelosi. We're going to talk a little bit more in this last half hour about the Mueller investigation. And is he crossing the red line now, trying to get into Donald Trump's finances? Donald Trump originally said that would be the red line you would cross if you got into his finances. This was supposed to be an investigation about Russia, not an investigation about his personal finances and things he did 10, 15 years ago. So we're going to be watching that. It's going to be interesting. Now that Mike Flynn has agreed to cooperate, it seems like, I hate to say it, he seems like he's giving away a lot of information here. We're going to have to see what's going on with that moving forward. Give us a call, 313-209-9000. Do you think that this investigation against Donald Trump is nothing more than a political witch hunt? One of the Mueller deputies has praised the DOJ official after defying Trump's travel ban order by talking about "I'm so proud." And so you have a bunch of partisan anti-Trump folks that are working these investigations, and I think that Donald Trump is smart to point that out, that these guys might not be totally on the level, and this might not be a investigation that has the integrity that one would desire if investigating the president and people around him. You want it to be a nonpartisan, straight down the line kind of investigation. If you've got a bunch of people there that wanted Hillary Clinton to win, and the hate for Donald Trump is deep. I think in a lot of other situations we assume that law enforcement and people who've done investigations and and attorneys and investigators have done this all their lives, that they could be biased. I mean, not be biased. They could do it partially and do their job. But when you start seeing some of these emails and some of the things these people have sent out, it lets you know that it's gotten to that level where everyone is fair game. And so I think that we'll be watching this closely. Donald Trump still has the power to fire Mueller. He has the power to not fund it. I mean, he has options on the table. And I think that that's one of the things that Donald Trump talked about was the fact that if he went investigated his personal funds and his money that would be crossing the red line. Give us a call, folks, 313-209-9000. Rodney, we're going to come back to you after the break. We're about to go to a break here on the Wayne Bradley Show. You're listening to us live on 910 a.m., your Superstation. I just wanted to let people know I'm also easy to find also on SoundCloud. You can look up the Wayne Bradley Show. iTunes, if you have your podcast, you can click on there and simply search for the Wayne Bradley Show. Spreaker, all the different blog sites, and also you can go to YouTube and find all my shows there. So give us a call, 313-209-9000. We'll be back on the Wayne Bradley Show.
Cold and gray, I had almost reached heaven just to feel it slip away, but life's too short to waste away, being scared to take chances, or so I heard wise men say. I wanna be loved, faithful and true. I wanna be loved, 10 billion lifetimes with you. I wanna be loved, and after all I've been through, I'll let my heart take its chances just to be loved by you. Taste, touch, hear, see.
There's always something new to talk about, and 910 AM Superstation wants to have you covered from every angle. So we're adding some familiar voices and strong opinions to the best talk radio station in town.
Wake up, Detroit, with the Wayne Bradley Show every morning from 5 to 7 a.m. Start your day off with the right perspective. The Wayne Bradley Show.
From 7 to 9 a.m., we'll have the editor for the Detroit News, Nolan Finley.
This is the most volatile time in the country in my professional career. And, that generates a lot of news, a lot of stuff to talk about.
Followed by the one and only David Alexander Bullock from 9 to 11 a.m.
The People Show, man, we bring it to you live and in full effect.
The always insightful and controversial Steve Niebling from 11 a.m. to noon.
And I do want to hear from you what you want to hear from me.
Bankalay Thompson from noon to 2 p.m.
This is the platform where we delve into the facts and informed opinion. We ask the tough questions.
The Cliff Russell Show from 2 to 4 p.m.
I don't care how much you know until I know how much you care.
Spud from 4 to 6 p.m.
Detroit's only African-American talk station, 24/7 Spud is here.
Rochelle Riley from 6 to 7 p.m.
I want to stress that this adventure is about life in Detroit and Michigan.
This Pastor Mo, a.k.a. the Street Preacher, a.k.a. the Street Sweeper.
You listen to the Lola George Show. It's your girl, Lola George.
910 AM Superstation, the voice of Detroit. 910 AM Superstation is the voice of the people. Don't believe me? Just listen.
I love 910 AM. I listen all day long. So many articulate and thoughtful, diverse voices and wonderful stories.
I always head to the 910 AM website for the latest in entertainment news, community events, and more.
So when you think of 910 AM Superstation, we want you to tune in, call in, and don't forget to find us on social media. Don't miss the best day party in town every Saturday at 4 p.m. on 910 AM Superstation with Chuck Bennett.
If I meet 2 people at each party, that's 10 people every week that I meet. At the end of the year, that's 520 people at parties.
Right.
That's a lot of names to remember.
That is.
But now, so then I get somebody who comes up to me and says, "Hi, Chuck, do you remember me?" All right, you do the math.
Saturdays at 4 p.m. only on 910 AM Superstation. 910 AM Superstation is the voice of the people. Don't believe me? Just listen.
I absolutely love this radio station. This station gets me through the work week.
And we don't just show love to the callers. We see the comments and the posts too.
I'm always on the go, so being able to watch all my favorite hosts on 910 AM mobile app is amazing.
So when you think of 910 AM Superstation, we want you to tune in, call in, and don't forget to find us on social media.
the Wayne Bradley Show, 9:10 a.m., your superstation. We've been talking about the whole John Conyers situation here. I want to talk to, we got Rodney on the line we're going to bring on. He's been holding on here for a minute. Rodney, welcome to the show. Thanks for holding on. How you doing today?
Fine, Wayne. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Hey, power uses the superior power. Power don't use a prayer. When you get your prayer, you got to do something.
Okay, all right. So, what do you think about this whole Conyers fiasco, and who do you think is possibly a good candidate?
I hope Mary Sheffield gets in the race.
Okay, Mary Sheffield. That's the second one for Mary Sheffield. So we've had two Mary Sheffields and about three or four David Bullocks here. Sounds like people want some new blood and anybody not last name Conyers.
His conversation is dirty, man. He got to clean it up.
That's the second person now that said that David Bullock. I'm about to text David Bullock now and just let him know that, like, man, I've been doing this show and people want to support you, man. You got to stop cussing and talking so bad about folks on the radio.
Especially being a preacher.
Now, I said that, and he got mad at me for saying that. I told him, like, hey, man, pastor's not supposed to cuss like that.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Wayne.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it, Rodney. Give us a call, 313-209-9000. 313-209-9000. We're going into the last half hour here on the Wayne Bradley Show, talking about all the wonderful things. I'm reading a Free Press article. They're literally calling this a free-for-all for the seat for John Conyers. I'm going to see if I can get some of these other possible candidates. But they're saying 10, 11 candidates could jump into this race. And I told people this last week that it could be as many as 10 or 11 people that are getting into this race. So it's going to be very interesting. Very, very, very interesting to see how this pans out. I mean, you've had Mary Sheffield. So let me go through this list that I've got here this will show you how bad it is. Besides the two Conyers as possible candidates, other Democrats being mentioned include Detroit Councilwoman Mary Sheffield and Council President Brenda Jones, former state reps Rashida Tlaib and Chanel Jackson. I like Chanel. Chanel would have that's a good one. Let's see who we got here. State Senators David Kniezek and Coleman Young, Westland Mayor William Wild, Wayne County Sheriff Benny Napoleon, and former U.S. Representative Hanson Clark. Oh, now that would be interesting, too. Hanson Clark gets back in the race. Yeah, I saw him yesterday at the Conyers rally. He popped up in there. Detroit attorney Michael Gilmore said he is already in the race. So you have an attorney that says he's in the race. I like Mary Sheffield, too. I'm impartial to smart, intelligent women getting into office. I think it's a good look, in particular in these urban cities where you have, women are the ones that are voting. I don't have any problem with that. I think Mary Sheffield does a good job representing the people. I always thought Chanel Jackson did as well. So we'll see. I like the idea of having somebody young. After having a guy that's been sitting in the seat for 50-plus years and was 90 years old, essentially, I think the idea of some new blood, young, someone that's going to take the vigor to go and really get down there and talk with the folks. I don't see my boy Bullock mentioned in this article, man. So, Bullock, you better get out here. Let's see. And it says, Hood said that a ballot crowded with Detroit candidates could create opportunities for suburban resident to emerge as the victor. It splits the Detroit vote. The actual largest voting block outside of Detroit is Westland, which opens it up for William Wild, and it opens it up for David Kniezek. Interesting. So you could have a suburban guy coming in and representing that share. I think the Detroit people would pretty much lose their freaking minds if a white guy replaces John Conyers in this seat. And so Wild said he thought about the congressional seat before the last election, and he said he just got reelected in November, but he hasn't made the decision yet. So we're going to go to Sherry. Let's go to Sherry. He's on the line.
Hello. I've never spoken with you before, and I've listened to you, and I am not a Republican. Mm-hmm. I know that you said you are. And I didn't know if your screener had a chance to tell you something I called in to tell you earlier or not. But I had told him if it would be possible, I would like to know, could you please consider interviewing Congressperson Alan Grayson from Florida? He is a Democrat, and I told your screener, with all due respect to you, I said, I don't think this is true about you, but I do think that probably most, or maybe, I want to say all or most, I don't know either way, Republican politicians, I think, are the way that Representative Grayson said, and this was some time ago. He spoke out in Congress. You may or may not have heard him, but he was saying that the Republican health plan is don't get sick, and if you do, be prepared to die quickly, or pretty much that's word for word. And I assume that probably your studio would have that, a way to bring it up, and I thought maybe you could play it. And I would love it if you could please interview him. He's very dynamic, and he can support everything he would say.
All right, well, I'll take a look at that and see what we can do. I appreciate you giving us a call, though, Sherry. Who do you think, well, did you cut her? You're so fast on the draw, man. My board guy, he doesn't, sometimes he cuts you off the minute I say thank you. That's the second call I've gotten for someone to say, Mike, why don't you come on here and talk about your state rep race, buddy, instead of getting me to run for Congress? I don't know. I've been approached for a couple things. One, I don't live in the 13th, so I don't know if that's something I would do, but I have been asked a few times about running for office, and I continue to pray on that, and I don't know if this is going to happen, coming up in 2018. We'll see. Got a newborn. That's a heavy lift, and to run for office and make all these things happen. So I got to think about all that, but I continue to pray on it and continue to look for answers from folks. Give me a call. What do you think about that? Wayne Bradley running for Congress. What would you think? 313-209-9000. I know. I'm just throwing that out there. Now, I'm like I said, I'm focused on family right now, but we shall see. You never know what God has planned for you. I do believe that you got to have a servant heart to do this job nowadays. There's too many people getting into it for the wrong reasons. And, I've spent a lot of years on the ground talking with the folks and getting a good understanding of what the issues are. Just not sure right now that the timing is right for that. So we'll see. We'll see. Can't make any promises on that. Obviously, in the 13th district, you have 10 to 11 Democrats that are going to go battle royal style. And it could, like the one consultant, Steve Hood, I believe it was, who said that, they could split up the vote where you could have a suburban, and folks would lose their minds if that happened, if Knizik or someone ran. So, like I said, I like being where I'm at right now. I like helping good folks make inroads into the urban areas throughout Michigan, working with the different pastors and business owners. I'm happy doing what I'm doing, but we shall see. You never know, Mike. But I'm holding you. I want you to come on here, man. Come on the show, and let's talk about your state rep race. If you want to talk wine, man, you're more than welcome to come on and talk wine at a different time. You're my guy, so you can come on anytime, man. Appreciate you listening there, my friend. Give us a call, 313-209-9000. Got about 15 minutes left here as we've been talking about. It's been a rough day in Detroit politics. I can't lie, I didn't see that he would resign the very next day. The stress must have really been taking a toll on John Conyers for him to step down like that. I like that. Wine Wednesday with Mike Benarian. You know what? Maybe next Wednesday, Mike, you can come in and do that. I like that idea. Wine Wednesday. Sounds good to me, man. See, you're a marketing genius right there, my friend. You're more than welcome to do that. More than welcome. So give us a call, 313-209-9000. Should John Conyers have resigned? I guess it's a mute question, but, Dr. Mack said that Nancy Pelosi didn't force him to resign. Well, you think if Nancy Pelosi would have said that he needs to resign, you think he would have, if she wouldn't have said that, do you honestly believe that John Conyers would have stepped down today. I mean, he had been serving since, when we started using, was it AD? He's been serving a long time, man. The cars, they had to crank up, when he was doing the Model T or something back then. So he's served a long time, put in a lot of good work for a lot of good people. Like I said, nothing can take away from his civil rights legacy that he created working with Martin Luther King and the tireless work that he did in that movement. And it's nothing, no matter what political disagreements I might have with him, there's nothing we can do with his legacy in that area is cemented. I don't know about endorsing his son. I don't know about his son running as being endorsed, but I guess when you've served as long as he has, you feel like you can pretty much do whatever you can. Mike, that's a good question. Do you think he ruined his legacy, or people forget about this? I think that his legacy is pretty much intact. I think that he took a chance of ruining his legacy by letting these allegations go on and letting more women come out saying things against him. And he potentially got out quick enough where his legacy might be good enough that he can get maybe his son or his nephew elected off of his name. But to be quite honest, how could it not be that John Conyers and Ian Conyers are not going to split the Conyers vote? He is a serving senator right now, which, I mean, he was being groomed for this position. Let's be clear here. He was there to be groomed. He had been going to D.C., having a lot of interaction down there, preparing for the day that John Conyers would rightfully give up the seat and retire, I guess. But he retired nonetheless. I don't think anyone, and I don't know John Conyers III, what I would consider personally. I've been in some social venues together. That's what I know him from, is party promoting and things of that nature. So he's been enjoying his life. I don't see why he would even want to run and get involved in this. I think that's putting a lot of pressure on that young man. He's been hanging out with Big Sean and, enjoying life. So I don't understand. I don't quite understand why he would want to run for Congress out of the blue like this. But, hey, maybe that's the thing. Another question from my guy, Benarian. This tells you, Benarian, how we're winding down here. Do you think that his legacy stuff passing to the seat is bad for politics, bad for Detroit? Well, it wasn't bad for Dingle to do it. He passed it on to his wife. So if Conyers wants to do it, I really don't, it's up to the will of the people. I think it shows how strong his legacy will be, Mike, if his son or if his nephew actually gets elected in this race. If John Conyers III gets elected with no political experience, just because his dad told everyone to vote for him, then I think that his legacy will continue to live on because, once you're in there, it's hard to get these guys out. It's proven by his dad, who, like I said, has been there for over 50 years. My lovely mother, my sweet mother, was a freshman in college at U of M at that time, and Conyers was already in office. My mother in that time, since then, has worked 30-plus years in DPS, retired, had 4 grandkids, and this guy still was in office. It's just time to go. We needed some new ideas, some new people, some new approaches, and it's just unfortunate, I think, that Nancy Pelosi had to be the person to force him out. So we're going to go to Denise on the line. Denise, thank you for calling in.
Yes, hi, good evening. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing just fine. And now I have another, this is all I want to say is this right here.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I'm proud to have known a person like John Conyers for my grandchildren and everyone else that I do know that has had a part and have just the knowledge of even knowing his name. He's a great man. I mean, he brought us to places that we wouldn't have ever been able to go to. I mean, things that we would have ever been able to do, we would not have ever been able to do. I'll say rhetorical continual. But I would like to see if his son knows what he's doing. He's no different than Mary Sheffield, who had to get in. She was called into the ministry, but she ended up a councilwoman. So we don't know what could happen with him.
I think what I will say about this real quick, Denise, I think there's a big difference between running for city council and then going to the U.S. Congress. I mean, you can learn, I guess, on any job, but I do think you
can.
I think there's a larger scope of responsibilities being in the U.S. Congress.
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. That wasn't the end of what I was getting ready to say. Mm-hmm. That's the reason why earlier I was talking about Mrs. Kilpatrick, Carolyn Cheeks Kilpatrick. I know that she's older. However, but she has it.
I mean, interesting.
She has it now. Her son, regardless of what Kwame's done, however, we need somebody with power and push for our Democratic power party, and she has it.
My inside sources tell me she's living a pretty good life down in D.C. or back and forth now. I don't know if she would want to do that, but that is an interesting pick there, Denise. I hadn't even considered that one. Good one.
Yeah, we need somebody with experience, with a lot of experience. I mean, this place is in a bad situation, from Washington to Detroit to all over the United States. And we need somebody that we know to push it, and she can. And I thank you so much for being there this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Denise. I appreciate it. All right, let's go to Betty. Betty, you're on the line.
This is Wayne Bradley.
This is Wayne Bradley. Hi, Betty.
Hi, Wayne. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing very well. Now, you're going to try to take John Conyers' place?
Oh, no, I'm not, ma'am. Not at all. That was people calling in, making suggestions. No, I am not interested in John Conyers' seat. Let me make that clear. No.
Okay, well, that's good. I just wanted to be sure.
Why is that? What are you going to tell me? Don't even try it?
Yep, that sure was.
Why is that?
Do you think you're qualified?
I'm just as qualified as John Conyers.
Oh, no.
John Conyers III. Why? Because his dad ran the job? I mean,
I don't know about John Conyers III, but I'm trying
I'm not comparing myself to John Conyers, the civil rights icon. I'm talking about the 10 to 12 different candidates that might run for a seat now. If you named them all, John Conyers III would probably be the least qualified out of most of these folks.
I wasn't talking about him. I thought you were getting ready to run. Somebody called and told me that Wayne Bradley was getting ready to run.
Oh, y'all, you guys got a little nervous there about that, huh? Don't worry. If I do, I'm gonna let you know. I'm not gonna. I will let you know if I decide to run, but no, not yet. Don't worry, Dims. You guys got a little more time to breathe on that.
Okay. Have a good evening.
All right. I like that. I like the fact that even the idea of me running got someone to make a call like, Wayne Bradley's talking about running. No, I'm not running for John Conyers' seat right now, but we'll see. I like to take the Mike Pence route of wherever the Lord shall lead me is where the direction I'll go on these kind of things. So I continue listening to the Lord, and I'll make a decision. But I can tell you right now that I am not looking at running in John Conyers' seat. That's not in the vision for me right now. But you never know. The Lord has a way of making things clear. It's what your vision should be. All right, we're gonna wrap this show with my guy Walter. Walter, let's wrap this show up together, my friend.
Hey Wayne, I'm not trying to hog your time, brother. But I think if it's silent, it gives me that's my cue to come back in. Don't want to make it a habit, but look, I'm gonna answer your question about Mueller, the investigator on Trump.
Go ahead.
And you already spelled out some of the facts. He's a Hillary guy and he's a Barack Obama guy. The people he's trying himself with does not like Donald Trump, and it is a witch hunt. And Donald Trump, and you said when you cross the line, this is what Donald Trump needs to do.
I wouldn't be surprised if he fired him. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Donald Trump wakes up tomorrow and says, let's get rid of this guy. He's digging into my finances. I told him that was a no-go. You just never know. That could be a political problem for him as well. But Mueller, it seems to me that he has a very big net, and now we're not focusing on Russian collusion, which was supposed to be the issue. Now we're looking like we're just going after finance issues and loans, and so that has nothing to do. And so to my point would be is if they found something that happened 10, 15 years ago, the only purpose they're going to do is to embarrass Donald Trump. It's not to get him to be impeached or anything like that. They just want to now at this point besmirch his reputation, make him look bad. From the night he won that election, Hillary Clinton and the Democrats just can't let it go. They just can't accept that they got beat. They have found every excuse in the book. And they just got to let it go, Walter. Man. They got to let it go.
They're sick people. Anybody look like John Kerry is a crook. You look like John Kerry.
Well, thank you, Walter, man. We're about to roll out of here today, man. I appreciate you calling back in, my friend. Listen, folks, Democrats, keep an eye on these other Democrats. You got Nancy Pelosi out here kicking out John Conyers. You know, just not caring about they just practice voter oppression here in Detroit. That's what that was. They're taking it back to the Democrat roots, practicing voter suppression on the black man, kicking the black man out, saying his voice is no longer needed. Your services are no longer needed, John Conyers. That's the mean, cruel words of that Democrat Party. Nancy Pelosi is in the no-fly zone when it comes to Detroit. She cannot come here anymore and try to support Gretchen Whitmer for governor. You will be rejected. You will be protested if you come here. I know Sherry, if she's hearing any of this, she's like, you're doggone right. That's what's going to happen. Thank you for listening to the Wayne Bradley Show today. Again, you can find my show on podcasts on your iTunes. You can find me on SoundCloud. You can go to Spreaker. All of those are free services. So many ways you can download and share this with your friends and family. Share the truth. That's what you do. You share the truth with your friends and family. Thanks again for listening to the Wayne Bradley Show on 9:10 a.m. your Superstation. We will be back tomorrow, as we are every day from 7 to 9 p.m. Have a blessed evening.
Christmas. Once again, WADL TV 38 and Romeo and Juliet are giving our viewers a chance to have the biggest Christmas ever. WADL TV 38 wants to make your Christmas merry by putting these fantastic gifts under your tree. A full living room set from Romeo and Juliet. Celebrate Christmas with a totally new living room. Big screen TV. Celebrate Christmas with not one, but 2 big screen TVs. State-of-the-art turntable, Bluetooth speaker. Capture your holiday memories with a digital camcorder. Restaurant gift cards, 6-week weight loss program, or 1 month of massage therapy from K Chiropractic. 'Tis the season to be jolly with WADL TV 38's biggest Christmas ever. To enter to win, log on to WADLDetroit.com. Once again, WADL TV 38 and Romeo and Juliet are giving our viewers a chance to have the biggest Christmas ever. WADL TV 38 wants to make your Christmas merry.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
9:10 a.m. Superstation. We got the topics.
I was in Hamtramck Friday night, and I was just like, wow, the Yemenis in Hamtramck, they turn Hamtramck into Yemenis heaven. They got clothing shop, they got restaurant, they got bike shop, they got the homes, right? They built the community. We the only ones running out to the suburbs want to live next to white people and then whining because white people won't let us play downtown. But man, there's so much vacant land in Brightmoor, there's so much vacant land in Detroit. We could build a black heaven. And I mean, the Bangladesh community's building, the Yemenis community's building. Obviously, if you go to Dearborn, you can see what the Arabs have done, the Muslim community has done, the Chaldeans are building. Every community builds, right? Even the Greek Orthodox, the Irish, and the Polish. Obviously, the white Anglo-Saxon Protestants are building their behinds off. And the Jews, Lord have mercy, Dan Gilbert, Superman, Gilbert is building, right? Even 910, Jew man, building. They build, everybody building, except black folks. We want them to build, and then in the name of integration and equality, we want them to give us 10% of what they built.
9:10 a.m. Superstation. We are the future of radio. If the conversation is hot and the lines are jammed, give us a try at 313-778-7600 or 313-778-7601. That's 313-778-7600 or 313-778-7601.
910 Superstation is off the chisane.
910 AM Superstation is the voice of Detroit, and we want to hear what you have to say by any means necessary. 910 AM Superstation is in a league of its own. We are the only talk radio station in the Metro Detroit area sensitive to the African American community.
Make sure you join us on what station?
910